this is the second part to checking out monuments in Penza, Russia. So today I will be showing you guys monuments that shaped the Russian history and its future. So the first monument is already ahead of me because it's really close to where I live. So here it is. You can see the back of it. I'll go up front right now. Those girls are taking photographs. Yeah, well, we don't mind them. We need to check this out. So this monument is Lermontov. Can you guys see the writing on it? That says Lermontov. So Lermontov, he was a Russian romantic writer, poet, and painter. The most important Russian poet after Pushkin. So there are two monuments dedicated to Lermontov here in Penza, Russia. I think that there are two. That's what I found out on the internet. This one was built in 1892. The other one was built in 1987. So yeah, important thing is that this monument is the second monument that was built in honor of Lermontov in Russia. So right now I'm gonna go visit the other monument that is dedicated to Lermontov, because that one, it looks like it's much newer, and it has the whole body of Lermontov. So let's go check it out. The snow is starting to melt. I'm liking it. Can't wait for it to melt. There's many places that I want to visit. I want to show you guys. So yeah, you guys should just stay tuned. I have a lot of ideas where I can go. So right now I'm getting close to the second monument dedicated to Lermontov in Penza, Russia. Here it is, as you guys can see me zooming in on it. Alright, let's get to it. This is the other monument that I said about that is dedicated to Lermontov. Can you guys see his face or not? Let me get closer. His face. What are those markings that go down? I don't know what those are. Maybe it's from the snow. So how and when did Lermontov become so famous? So Lermontov, he used to write poems all the time, but he never used to show them to anyone except for his best friend Rayevsky. His best friend liked them so much that he asked Lermontov to publish his poems, but Lermontov always refused due to his self-doubt. So one day, Rayevsky, he took one of his poems, and it was called Haji Abreik, and he went and showed it to an editor of a major magazine. So the editor ordered to immediately publish it because he liked it so much. So later on, Lermontov knew about this. He didn't like what Rayevsky did, but at the end, no one criticized his poems. They were praised in every manner possible. So at first I want to tell you something before I say like how he got so popular and the whole public knew about him, is that Lermontov, he had only one wish, is that Pushkin to read his poems, because they lived at around the same time. And the problem is, I don't think that that his wish ever came true, because Pushkin had already died in his duel, and so Lermontov's poems became popular after Pushkin's death. And so he adored Pushkin so much that after Pushkin's death, he wrote a poem about Pushkin. And so his poems did become popular after Pushkin's death, because Raevsky, he was shook by them, and he made several copies mainly to support Pushkin's family. So these copies were spread through St. Petersburg in just 2 days, and they were not only recited but even memorized. They were duplicated by thousands. So no sooner had St. Petersburg said its last farewell to Pushkin, all the talks started being about his successor, which is Lermontov. So his death was like Pushkin's death. It was in a duel. But the reason for Lermontov's duel was different. So what happened was that it was over words that he said to a guy that he knew. So once they were at a party, and his friend was there. He was wearing in a Circassian manner, and he had two big daggers on him, like a belt, and on him there was two big daggers. And so Lermontov jokingly said, "You look like two Highlanders at once." So a Highlander is a person that lives on high land. So yeah, his friend's name was Martinov, and the words that Lermontov said, they were like, they went through the whole room, and there were a lot of people. And so Martinov told him, "How many times do I have to tell you that you should not joke with me like this around women?" After this party, like after everyone went home from this party, like the people that were there, Martinov came up to Lermontov and repeated his words. "How many times do I have to tell you not to joke with me around the lady?" And so Lermontov, he smiled and asked, "Are you going to challenge me to a duel for that?" And so they agreed to a duel. And when the right moment came, when Lermontov had to shoot, he refused to shoot Martinov. And Martinov didn't refuse at all. He just shot, and Lermontov, at that moment, he was critically wounded. So the problem was that they didn't bring a doctor with them. And so due to this problem, Lermontov, he just kept bleeding, and while his other friends went to call a doctor, they were already too late. You know, at the age of only 26. Can you guys imagine? So young. This is another monument. This monument is dedicated to Karl Marx, as you guys can see. I'm gonna go to it, get close to it, and as you guys can see, the snow is starting to melt in Russia. That's really cool. Alright, let's get close to it right now. Oh, it's big. So this is the monument. This is the monument that's dedicated to Karl Marx. He was a German philosopher. So the world's first monument dedicated to Karl Marx was opened in Penza, Russia. But it only stood for less than a month until someone destroyed it. It was unknown who did it, but it was mainly because it disturbed the people, and the people didn't like the revolutionary idea. And over the next 40 years, there were repeated attempts to build a monument dedicated to Karl Marx in Penza, but they all failed. Until 1960, a monument appeared on Sovetskaya Square in Penza. So Marx, this guy, he wrote the Communist Manifesto, and the Soviet Union adopted his ideas. And did you guys know that Marx's ideas only became apparent and famous after his death? I mean, while he was alive, no one knew about him anything. After he died, there were many countries that started to like his ideas, like the Soviet Union. you guys can see, many people are walking today. Unlike last time when I was out, there weren't this many. It's because the weather is getting warmer. That's the main reason. So, right now I'm getting a little hungry, so we're gonna go eat before we go and take a look at the last monument. Ready to eat. So yep, I got myself some Central Asian food. It's very good. Wish me a bon appetit. Just finished eating. Now I'm full. I can go and talk about the last monument. It's not very far away from where I am right now. Can you guys see it? One sec, I'm getting close. There it is. So this is the monument from close up. Can you guys see it? There's something on its head. I think that's a pigeon up there. Can you guys see that pigeon? Yeah, so this is the monument that is dedicated to Belinsky. And he was a Russian literary critic. So a literary critic is one who reads the output of other authors and criticizes it and points out the problems in their works. So this guy, he was one of the most important intellectual Russian figures in the 1840s. Belinsky's role was to explain to the reading public what the writer was really saying, and trying to discover and understand what was hidden within the writings and between the lines and the deeper meaning of what was written. And he explained to the people why it was really important that they understand what was being said. His death was due to a disease, tuberculosis, and at that time there was no treatment for this disease. Unlike right now, it's easy to treat. And in my city, in Penza, there's a park that was named after Belinsky. It's really beautiful in the spring, and I will go there if you guys want, and I will show it to you.